Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm getting the opportunity to test ride this. It's a Commencal Meta Power SX race and it's not mine, it's Dec's. So thanks a million Dec for the lend. One of the things I probably need to point out, as you can see, is it's pretty big, so even with the saddle down I'm going to struggle a little bit, but hopefully it won't hold me back too much. I did an unboxing video on this already, so if you want to check that out. And I think we'll just get out in the trails and try it out, and I'll go through what I like and dislike about it. The Meta Power SX race. Is this a good bike, and who is this bike for? We got this Meta Power SX race just before Christmas, and I did an unboxing on it on another video. Now, after riding it for around 4 months, I can tell you what I like and what could be improved about this bike. But first, let's set the scene. Who is this bike for? Well, it's definitely aimed at the more downhill or super gravity end of the spectrum. So if you're looking to do predominantly trail riding and lots of uphill, then there are definitely better bikes on the market that are more suited to this. Initially, I was a bit sceptical about ordering a bike from an online-only retailer. However, after dealing with Commencal, they really impressed me with their level of customer service, and the bike came in less than 2 weeks. So let's talk a bit about the spec. This bike comes with 27.5-inch wheels, which allow the bike to feel pretty playful for a heavy bike. It comes with E13 TRS wheels, which seemed a bit weak to me as both the front and rear wheel have already dented. On a recent spin, all the spokes came loose on the rear. Then on another spin, after a fairly innocuous crash, the rim got dented so badly that the wheel had to be replaced. Now it's got a much sturdier DT Swiss 511 rim on the back, with Cush Core tyre inserts, and hasn't caused any issues at all. The bike came out of the box with Magic Mary 2.4 up front and a Big Betty 2.4 out back, both in super gravity casing. For me, the 2.4 Magic Mary up front didn't offer as much grip as I'd have liked, so that was changed out for a Michelin E-Wild 2.6, which is unreal on this bike. I love the Magic Mary, by the way, so I will keep it and put it on the rear when the Big Betty wears out, which is also a pretty nice tyre and has had no issues at all, even in really wet Irish weather. This bike has 180mm of travel up front with the RockShox Zeb Ultimate fork, and this is just an unbelievable fork. I've been so impressed with it. It's given me confidence to push the bike pretty hard and allows you to get away without being super precise. It was really easy to set up, not requiring much fiddling with rebound or compression, and the only main change I made was to put about 10 more PSI than it recommended for my weight, as this allowed the fork to stand up more and put me in a more natural riding position while still feeling amazing. At the rear, this bike has 165mm of travel and came with a RockShox Super Deluxe Ultimate Coil shock with a 400-pound spring. This shock gave the bike a really supple and planted feel, especially when things got fast and rough, and is a great complement to the Zeb up front. For heavier riders, I'd think about changing the spring out for a slightly heavier spring. Now, onto the heart of an e-bike, the motor and the battery. The Meta Power comes with the new Shimano EP8 motor, and it is a very natural feeling and quiet motor while pedalling. Yes, there is a bit of a rattle when going downhill, however you soon become immune to this, particularly if you use any kind of motor protector. Okay, so the EP8 is not without fault. The bike was less than a month old when the motor gave a fatal E010 error, which meant that it had to go back to Shimano by way of a Shimano dealer. Commencal, though, were brilliant to deal with. They sent a courier around to the house to collect the faulty motor, then sent it to Shimano in France, and in 2 weeks we had a brand new motor returned. Excellent customer service all round, and massive shout out to Victor in Commencal for looking after it all. In order to fit the chainring back onto the motor, however, you need a special tool. Park Tool make one, and so do Shimano, and neither are cheap or easy to get your hands on. Another fairly major issue we had with the motor is that the E13 cranks came loose and fell off on 3 separate occasions. This is apparently a known issue with these, so we have swapped them out for Shimano cranks. So, is this motor powerful? In short, yes it is. It produces 85 Newton meters of torque, which is enough to power you up a hill and wave at the other cyclists while they shake their fists at you and mutter under their breath. I really like how you can change this bike between different profiles by using the on-bike controls. This allows you to use Profile 1 for longer spins and then use Profile 2 for shorter blasts, which is more powerful. The bike comes with a big 630 watt battery, which has only run out on a few occasions, although it does seem to drop the last 2 bars pretty quickly. I'm not sure whether it is the big battery or the burly Zeb forks, but this bike seems to feel quite heavy even for an e-bike. It weighs in at about 25 kilograms and does feel heavy, particularly at the front. This may not necessarily be a bad thing, as I've yet to wash out in a corner on the Meta Power. It does make it near impossible to manual, and bunny hopping on the flat is pretty difficult too. While it is a heavy bike, it doesn't stop it from being an awesome jumper. With this bike, with the Super Deluxe coil, you really get out what you put in. And I found if I preload jumps hard, this bike just takes off. It's also really forgiving on the landings and has allowed me to get away with the odd case and dodgy landing. So what else was changed out? Not much really. The grips have been changed to ODIs, even though the Commencal ones were pretty decent. And the saddle to a WTB Volt saddle, as it's super comfortable and you really want something nice and comfy for the long spins you'll do on an e-bike. One other major thing that was added was a bash guard from Amigos. They're a small company based in France and make very good protective bash guards for bikes. The Commencal bash guard that comes with the bike is a bit weak and smashed on almost the first ride, and then the replacement one smashed shortly after. And at almost 50 quid a pop, they aren't cheap to replace, so the Amigos one made perfect sense. While it may not be to everyone's taste aesthetically, it certainly does the job and can take a beating. The stock handlebars are great, and Commencal have provided some really clever internal cable routing in them, and they come with 780mm, which is good. The bike comes with SRAM Code R brakes, and they are also staying for the moment. They provide nice stopping power, particularly when combined with the 220mm rotors front and back. These rotors look like dinner plates, but they do the job of stopping pretty well. With regards to shifting, this bike came with a 12-speed SRAM GX Eagle shifter, chain, cassette and derailleur, which perform really well and hasn't started skipping or causing any frustration yet, and provides really nice and smooth gear shifts, so they're going to stay too. This bike is a size large and is definitely too big for me. It does have a pretty decent reach with 485mm and a short enough chainstay to feel playful. The Meta Power SX Race comes in at around €6,500, and as far as e-bikes go, this is a decent price in today's market, particularly given the specs of the bike. So, is this a good bike? Hell yes, this is a really fun, downhill orientated bike that climbs well too. It's really capable at high speeds and gives you a lot of confidence to try things that you probably shouldn't. I'm really looking forward to taking this bike to the bike park and just doing lap after lap after lap. It's basically like an uplift in a bike. Thanks so much for tuning in, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.